Good evening, friends, and welcome to Chateaux del Nick, La Boudoir del Brown, for the very last time. As we say, it's Thursday night, it's Littleport, and it's time for Littleport Christian Spiritualists. But fear not, as I have said many times, we are bringing you with us to the hall. So although tonight is the last night, you will see my bedroom, you will continue to be able to join together as one under the Great Spirit, connecting as brothers and sisters of the human family, united in upliftment and hope and proof of survival each Thursday night. Same place, same time, just a different venue. Your laptop, our village hall. It's that simple. But of course, it would be foolhardy, and not to mention difficult, not to mark such an important change in this church's existence. I'd like to begin by thanking every single person who's been involved in this last basically 18 months where we've been broadcasting our church, your church, from home. Every single person who's joined in and watched, every single person who's commented, every single medium and every single recipient. And of course, we have to say, Reverend Alan, Reverend Lyn, Sam, Hannah, Bully and Henry, who have been my panel of experts in writing, in philosophy, and of course, in Bully's special prize every single week. But thank you all for supporting us and keeping us going. As we all know, it's been a difficult time for everyone, and I feel like my own personal life has been splayed for all the world to see over this last 6 months. I want to thank you all for your support to myself and my family, to my mum, to my sister, to all of us. I want to thank you all for being there and being part of our lives and keeping us going. One of the things that I hear every week is you've kept us going. You guys have kept us going. So thank you. So of course, being the last night, we've got to do something a bit unusual. We've got to do something different. So all bets are off, my friends. All sense of normalcy and decorum are out of the window. And of course, we have an excellent medium, not from Littleport, not from Cambridgeshire, not from the Fens, not from East Anglia, not even from the UK. In a moment, we will be joined by Reverend Matthew Stapley from Canada, a very good friend of ours and a very personal good friend of mine. But of course, we must do things in order and do things properly. And now I've been asked many times over the last 18 months, what does Nick really wear underneath his waist? He could be wearing jogging bottoms, swimming costume, you name it. Well, this is, of course, a church. So decorum and dignity requires that you will never know. And so that's all I'm saying on the matter. I have got some comments up on the screen. Have you remembered to put the healing book on your desk for later? Actually, that's a really good point. No, I haven't. Give me a second. I'll go get it. There we are. So as I said, you'll never know what I wear beneath the waist. Friends, it's time to welcome a very good friend of mine and a very good friend of ours and a very good friend to the society and spiritualism in general. give it up. You've been begging for him for a long time. He's back. It's Reverend Matthew Stapley. Hello, mate. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me back.
You're very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. How have you been and what have you been up to?
Not too bad. I mean, this as usual. Not much else. I don't think I have a life outside of this work. How about you?
Yeah, aside from setting up a nice little tutu reveal, not much.
Which was amazing, by the way. I feel completely underdressed now.
Bless you, bless you. Well, it's really, really great to have you back, because I know that you're still planning on, at the very least, sending Lyn a bottle of Canadian water so that she can refreeze it.
Yes. And I'm going to take it from ice in the wintertime. So it will be like ice and she can turn it back into ice.
Excellent stuff. Well, I know she'll be over the moon, and I know everyone is over the moon, because it's a combination now of loving the tutu and high mat. So we know that you've taken over the feed already, which is wonderful. One of the things that I've loved about the online presence, seriously, in the last 18 months, is just the way everyone just slots into being friends and family instantly.
Yeah.
And it's just amazed me. For all the people that say that spiritualism's on the down low and not going down, and it's just kind of like this egotistical bitchy group, they should read one of our feeds.
Yeah,
because it is absolutely brilliant every single week, and it really has kept me going, and all of you guys have. So you are always welcome, and I have said, and I will say it now publicly, once all the technology is working and up and running, we should be able to have you back serving Littleport from Canada in the village hall.
Well, that sounds really cool and much more technologically advanced than the churches here, I'll be totally honest.
You were saying, yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen one spiritualist church in Canada doing an online service. I'm sure there have been, but I looked and I could not find one, which kind of worked out, because then I got to come and meet all of you guys, which I think has been a huge blessing.
Definitely. Well, it has been to us, and you're very blessed for being here too. So thank you, Matt. And it's that time. I will give you forewarning. I'm bringing her up in a moment. It's the last opportunity in Chateaux del Nick. I know she'll behave herself a little bit more when we're in a church environment, not that much, but for all the things that we've heard over the last 18 months from yogurt pots and all manner of different things that have become spiritualist catchphrases over the last few years. Let's see what the lady herself has to say tonight. Ladies and gentlemen and friends, please welcome to the platform, you guessed it, our principal minister of the New Christian Spiritualist Society. It's Reverend Lyn. Are you there?
I am here. Thank you very much, both of you, reverends.
And echo-free for the last week.
Yes, absolutely. The wonders of modern technology. They sometimes escape me, but sometimes they impress themselves upon me regardless. And it's almost like spirit and spiritualism, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you said, Nick, Reverend Nick, that you were sort of you were sort of disclosing your sort of personal self, and there was nothing quite so personal as when we saw your smalls draped over the radiator that time.
Yes.
But then you've topped it all together with that wonderful thing you were wearing. I beg your pardon, I don't want to upset you. Tutu. Skirt, frock. Well, I think frocks have to be sort of top and bottoms, don't they? But absolutely wonderful. And sometimes I always sort of think to myself, well, if you get really bored with any kind of service, not that anybody would get bored in a spiritualist service with us, but if anybody got bored, we could adopt the long frock of the Orthodox Church, perhaps, to ourselves, and then we could amuse ourselves from week to week, wondering what the minister is wearing underneath it. You know, bare ankles, or some sparkly looking, suspicious looking socks that maybe tights could actually, you know, run riot with the imagination. So I thought that was wonderful, Reverend Nick, and I think, you know, it actually sets the tone, doesn't it, of our church? Absolutely. It doesn't. You see, it doesn't need me. And the other thing is that, you know, I'm really happy that Reverend Nick is carrying on our tradition of being somewhat a little risque, a little outside of the normal, dare I say it without offending anybody. You know, certainly I don't mind people saying something is normal, you know, if they have to. I prefer ordinary or usual or customary myself, because normal usually brings me out in one of those sweats, you know, where I wonder what's going to happen next. But you know, clothing has always been a contentious issue in the church, in religion as a whole, not just in our religion, but in other people's religions as well. You know, what they not only what their ministers and clergy wear, but what the people themselves wear. You know, people used to talk about their Sunday best to go to church, or their Saturday best if you were Jewish, or a Seventh-day Adventist, or another religion that recognises the Sabbath as a different day. And people like to dress up. And one of the things that I was told when I was beginning my development as a possible platform medium was that if you are working in a public place, on a public platform, you are representing spirit, and therefore you should dress accordingly. And that's why a lot of the spiritualist churches had modesty rails. You know, those little rails that people sort of lean on sometimes and pretend that they're in a bar when they're giving their messages. You know, have you heard this one? But we won't go into the methodology of delivering messages, shall we, Reverend Matthew? You know, leaning on the rail in front of when you're in front of a congregation, you know, in a sort of confidential manner, isn't really the done thing. Although when you consider some of what you hear from a public platform, in fact, what I hope is that actually, if people are not used to churches, going to spiritualist churches and seeing mediums work, that this might drive them in to our churches rather than drive them away, if they think they're actually going to see something really quite amazing happening in front of their very eyes, like somebody, you know, leaning. And of course, if they have a glass of water, which can look like beer from a distance, you know, even better, you know, sort of, have you heard this one, you know? But you know, I think that the question of what we wear has always been, you know, uppermost and most contentious. And, you know, people don't even think about the content sometimes. They're so wrapped up in what people are wearing.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
so
true.
So really, I think that, you know, our chosen garments, I think, are quite suitable, because they do take people's minds off the question of what we're wearing. On the other hand, it sometimes gives them more food for thought, because people think, well, what are they wearing clerical collars for and clerical garments? If this is a spiritualist church, I thought that they weren't supposed to wear anything in particular. But, you know, there's a fine line, isn't there? And there are sort of stages of what we wear. And I think that it's quite good to be quite free and to say, well, we wear what we wear because this is how we want to connect with somebody else. We want to connect with you in this way, and by wearing the clothes that we wear, at least on the top half, Reverend Nick, you know, and sitting, it's the confidence in you. Now, the other thing that gets mixed up in that is having confidence in the person themselves, and I think that has to be separated up. You have to understand that people have a personal life as well as their public life. And they have their own physical, personal life, as well as their spiritual, public life. And they are entitled to both. St. Paul worried himself sick over it, didn't he? People may not know this, but if you go to his letters, his letters that he sent out to all the churches that he founded, he was very, very concerned that the church in Rome, wasn't doing what it should, and he was trying to say, well, I'm the same as you guys. You can resort to that sometimes, can't you? If you're desperate to get your message across, you're trying to say to people, oh, we're just the same as you. We're just the same. I might be a medium. I might be listening to spirit all the time. I may be, one of these sort of spooky people, but I'm still just the same as you. Have all the same personal and physical things as you. And Paul was actually doing that. And in his letters to the Romans, he was telling them, really, all about his own worries about his physicality and his urges, which of course the poor man thought was sinful, but we understand that one person's sin is another person's good time. And sin has very many different definitions according to who is actually defining that. I'm very sinful myself, according to probably millions of people walking this planet as we speak. I don't think I'm very sinful, but they do. It's because they assess me according to their lights and to their sort of sliding scale of sin. And I think that we should. I'm very pleased that us spiritualists avoid it at all costs. We always avoid sin. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about the devil very much, except to poke fun at him and say ha ha ha, and sin, ha ha ha. But we are so inclusive. I think it's wonderful, and clothing comes into that. So if somebody wants to come to one of our churches and work in flowing robes, or they like the Archbishop of Canterbury may ask to come, you never know, with all his vestments, or the chief rabbi, bless him, with everything, people should, or even a Muslim with a mullah wants to come in with all his stuff, or the Russian Orthodox with all their regalias. I think that people should be allowed to wear exactly what they wish to wear. And if you're born a man and wish to wear frocks or coloured tutus, I think that's perfectly acceptable. And equally, if you are born a woman and you want to wear men's clobber, then so be it, and it is just good fun, isn't it? Because we're all different. That's the point. And poor St. Paul, he was sainted by Rome, St. Paul. But here he is writing this letter that any of us can sort of identify with, going, oh, I have been in a terrible situation. I've had all these lusting thoughts, and the mind boggles, because nothing's said about him being married or not married or who he was with. I know he went around the countryside and went on sea tours and things with a lot of men. But there he was, worrying about his personal physical life, and yet he was the most spiritual person. So I think we have to accept that, there is this dichotomy between us, the person we are. We're entitled to be how we are and who we are. We're placed on this earth to fulfill our own destiny, but to fulfill our physicality as well. And I think that if we wish to go and be celibate somewhere in a big house like the monks and the nuns, so be it. But if we want to be amongst, other people in that way, to know them biblically, then why not? And I think as long as we remember that we harm no one, I think that's quite a fine philosophy to live by for spiritualists anyway, if not the whole world. But I was there's a Jewish joke, I'm a Jew. By the way, did you know that on my mother's side I'm the same tribe as Paul? Paul was from the tribe of Benjamin. So was my mum. On my dad's side, I'm a Levi, the priestly lot, who weren't given a portion of any land whatsoever, You know, sort of like we can only inherit the spiritual. But you know, there's this old Jewish joke. I've got loads of Jewish jokes, but I will not bore you with them. But there's a little one about Genesis and the story about Adam and Eve. And I mean, we all know that God made a few people at once. He didn't really just make two people. He did make a few, but they talk about Adam and Eve because it's easier to understand that. And you know, when they'd eaten of the tree of knowledge, and Adam got himself a fig leaf, didn't he? And he stuck it over his private parts. I hope it was a very large fig leaf. He put it over himself, and then Eve put herself a fig leaf. But then she thought, and then she tried an oak leaf, and then she tried a sycamore leaf, then she tried a maple leaf. You know, because God had put all these trees, and after about 5 or 6 of these trying on of leaves, Adam gave up altogether and wandered off to pick strawberries in the wood or something, you know, left her to it, trying on all these different leaves. That is an awful Jewish joke. But, I can tell it's awful because nobody's laughing. And I'm sure that if there was a simple fig leaf when he stopped choking, Reverend Nick would probably find it. And he would be one who would be looking for a variety of different leaves to try on. I think
Different
he would. I think actually, shall we say that Adam probably wandered off looking for something different to wear as well?
Probably. Although I'll be honest with you, I'm sure that Eve was probably hoping that he had a bigger fig leaf as well.
Oh. Well, you know, we can't get into that, of course, because we're in a church, aren't we? Absolutely. So we can't talk about any of those things that we've discussed up until now. So really, we'll have to sort of stop now in case people take offence or take umbrage and think that this is not the kind of church they wish to belong to, and leave. And the thing is that, you know, the village hall, it's a long walk to the back door. And if you are wearing shoes with hard soles on them, hard soles, we don't have many hard soles, but if you're wearing a hard sole and you want to walk out, your footsteps will resound. Yes. But I hopefully people will not have left, and they will wait, probably with bated breath, to see whether you are going to walk across their screens again in case you have to get up to do anything else.
Well,
and then
this
we
is
can
it.
see, you know, we can then get a glimpse of the true beauty of your apparel. And we know that, you know, this kind of, respectability is what we're after in our church. You know, we only want you if you're respectable by our standards, you see. So we set a high standard. If you're not wearing a proper tutu, or you're not wearing diamante, and you know, we say really that you would be underdressed, but we would let you in. We would let you in if you're wearing ordinary clothes. Yeah. So and similarly, if you're a medium, your work stands by its own merit, and I know that you're going to have a lovely time with Reverend Matthew tonight and get lots of nice stuff from Spirit, because let's face it, you know, we never stop, do we? Us mediumistic lot, we hear from them a lot. We hear from them all the time. I'm not even pretending that my guides were prompting me tonight. I think what they were trying to prompt me to do was shut up. I was warned once again when I was first developing my mediumship. I was warned by one sepulchrally voiced circle leader. I didn't stay in a circle very long, by the way. That if I argued with Spirit, they'd leave me. Well, that is the truth, and I think that there are still things like that being said to people. I won't tell you what I've heard that circle leaders have said to people who want to be mediums, and you know, this debate and discussion about what circle leaders tell developing mediums who can run and run, and I won't get into that. But certainly, she said they will not stay with you if you argue. Well, I've been arguing for many, many years now, and it seems that, you know, they will still stay with me even though I get on their nerves. So I'll say God bless to all of you. I hope I don't get on anybody's nerves down here. Ha ha. I know I do, but then that's how it is, isn't it?
That's how change happens, though.
Here.
That's how change happens.
Well, change is something else. That's very interesting, Reverend Matthew, because I was thinking about that being the subject for my little address this evening, and it didn't happen because I thought of those words, you know, change and decay in all around I see, but you, thou God, who changest not, abide with me. And I was looking at the time at this, and I thought that has not changed. This is a shell.
Wow.
It's a shell that my mother brought back from Jamaica. She taught out there for quite a while. And can you imagine? You see, if you think I'm mad, it's inherited. My mother brought this and many other shells back in her luggage. Wow. You know, I think she probably had to pay extra to bring all the stones and boulders and large things like this back. Even a huge shell that was made into a lamp by one of her students' parents. But yeah, so change we have to, but some things changeth not, and thank God he doesn't. So I'll leave you with that. God bless you, and have a lovely, lovely evening this evening, everybody.
Thank you,
Lyn. Thank you, Lyn. God bless you,
welcome.
my love. And let's just be glad that I opted for the tutu and not the stockings and suspenders. Although I will say, see Facebook for details. The wig was perfect,
and the raya, dear, the raya.
Yes, and the rack was quite good too. On that note, we'll say see you in a bit. God bless, doll. Oh, right. Well, normally I say we will see how well connected spirit are to get the reading to follow the address. I'm not even going to risk it this week because I don't know. Well, having said that, it's Alan, so you never know. Ladies and gentlemen and friends, let's welcome Reverend Alan up for the reading and see what he's got to say this week too. Are you there, mate?
I am.
Hello, bud.
Well, how do you follow that?
Yeah.
I really should have chosen a night with my lady for tonight, I think.
You should have done.
But never mind.
mind.
I didn't. Spirit directed me to this, and I like it, and I hope you all do too. It's called When I Say I Am a Christian. And it is by Carol Wimmer. Right. When I say I am a Christian, I am not shouting, I've been saved. I'm whispering, I get lost. And that's why I chose this way. When I say I'm a Christian, I don't speak with human pride. I'm confessing that I stumble, needing God to be my guide. When I say I'm a Christian, I am not trying to be strong. I am professing that I am weak and pray for strength to carry on. When I say I'm a Christian, I am not bragging of success. I'm admitting that I failed and cannot ever pay the debt. When I say I'm a Christian, I don't think I know it all. I'll submit to my confusion, asking humbly to be taught. When I say I'm a Christian, I am not claiming to be perfect. My flaws are all too visible, but God believes I'm worth it. When I say I'm a Christian, I still feel the sting of pain. I have my share of heartache, which is why I seek God's name. When I say I'm a Christian, I do not wish to judge. I have no authority. I only know I'm loved. Thank you.
That was
God
great.
bless you. And
Beautiful.
absolutely agree with you. And do you know what? I've got to say this much. It really did, because Lyn went on about the sin, and it just ties it. Wow, you know, I'm blown away again every single time. It
They
did.
never ever fail us.
Absolutely. Now, in amongst all of the comments about thank you, perfect, tying in, there is a question from someone called Facebook User. I don't know what your name is, whoever you are, my friend, because you're coming up as Facebook User. So drop a comment, let us know who you are. Can you ask Alan if there is a story behind the native necklace, please, Mr. B? I just did.
Yes, the native necklace it was gifted to me. And it was when I was doing a development circle just prior to Red Wing starting up. And I wore it at every single Red Wing meeting.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, it is Native American and it is proper bone.
Yes, I thought it would be. For those that don't know, Alan and I have obviously... Oh, it's Chris. Hello, Chris. There you go. That makes sense. I understand now. Hey, hello. We were chatting earlier, you see. So hi, Chris. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I've known about you for so long, as you're interested in the Native American things that you do, right down to the fact that we all had a bit of a gathering in the forest doing loads of banging one Sunday on drums, and doing the Native American drum healing, which is, you know, we will get back to doing that, I'm sure. If you watch the credits, there's a picture of us in there doing it, I'm sure. So yes, I knew that it would be, of course, what it was. So there we are, Chris. There's your answer. And Kirsty, that will be posted. I assume you mean about the reading. That will be posted later on after the service or tomorrow morning by Alan. So keep an eye on the church page. It will be available for you to download.
It certainly will. It's in my transfer box, ready to be transferred over. So you know, there's been no problem with it this week at all.
Fabulous, fabulous, excellent. Well, Alan, thank you, and what a wonderful tie-in as well. We thought it would be difficult, but we should know better where spirit's concerned. So thank you, mate, and we'll see you a bit later on.
I will do.
God bless. God bless. Well, sir, now it is time to send out some healing. And boy, this week do we need to send out some healing. Yeah. For those that have not seen the news in the last 12 hours or so, there's been a great deal of flooding in Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands, caused by some really heavy standing rain. So there's been a lot of people impacted. So we should send our thoughts to all impacted.
And to South Africa as well. They've had major riots breaking out as well.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And of course, there's a little bit of healing needed, sending a little bit closer to home on that score too. You know, one of the things that you can always do to combat fire is pour water on it. One of the things that you can do to combat hate is pour love on it. And that is what healing does. As well as uplift those who are down, it can help sometimes humble those who are not. We pray greatly. So for all those that are in need, this is for you. And so, friends, let's join together and send out our thoughts. Begin with that prayer that has become so well known and quoted, and that video that's been so stolen and shared, and join together and send out our thoughts as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends and to bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them, both those we know, those we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them, we ask for them now. Amen. Well, friends, we're coming up to the point in the evening where we're going to have our demonstration of mediumship. And of course, everyone's downstairs ready and raring and waiting. So whilst Reverend Matthew prepares himself, as he has begun to do so, I'd just like to take a minute right here to tell you all about something that's coming soon. You see, one of the things that's always important when you're doing this is to have a bit of filler. So friends, I did promise earlier that we will be indeed coming to you from Littleport Village Hall every Thursday night. What I didn't tell you is that that's not it. And although this is the final service from Boudoir Del Brown on a Thursday, it's not the last time you're going to see it. So whilst Matthew prepares himself to give his demonstration, it's that phrase that I love saying, and I haven't said it very often. Let's roll VT. So there we are, my friend. You're not losing us, you're gaining more. There will be 3 streams a week. So, you know, just so you know, we're not abandoning you, you guys who have been with us week in, week out during lockdown. There will be a Sunday healing and philosophy service. There will, of course, be the Thursday service like tonight, but from the village hall. And also a little bit of something different once a week as well. So you're not going to be on your own and you're not going to be without us. But for now, it is time for our demonstration of mediumship. Didn't you see how I seamlessly covered that, dear? I thought I did really, really well. Oh,
you did.
I always have something up my sleeve, and it's not always suspenders either.
Thank God.
So let's find out who's first in the queue. Oh, now there's somebody that I really can't say too much about. Linda, are you there? Can you hear us? Excellent. Right, I will. That's good too.
I lost you all a minute ago.
Pardon?
I lost everything a minute ago, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I can.
Don't play with the buttons. You'll be fine. Don't worry. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Right, I will leave you two to it, and I'll see you in a bit.
All right. How are you today, Linda?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for being in the service with us. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So, as I'm stepping into your energy field, I just want to talk for just a moment about some of the energy that greets me as I step into your field. And I want to mention a lot of release happening and what that looks like to me when I step into somebody's energy and their aura is I can see different colors, and you've got a lot of red kind of coming off of you and orange and those kinds of colors, which to me represents big emotional releasing. And I feel like this is, been going for at least several weeks, if not several months. It's coming off of your heart and your solar plexus both. So obviously our heart is our emotions and our feelings and our, love and empathy and compassion. Our solar plexus is like our physical well-being, our physical empowerment, and the way that we feel when we approach the world. And so because there's old energy sort of leaving these two areas, I would just want to say that I feel like you may be in a bit of a roller coaster period right now, mentally and emotionally, but I also want to say that that is very temporary, okay? Immediately, I'm getting a man coming in for you, and this man comes in with a huge sense of humor. I think he was one of those people that would just love to make everybody laugh. I feel like he was somebody that had a really big heart, very compassionate, but kind of a little bit on the stubborn side. I don't feel like anybody could really tell him what to do. I get an image of a bull in my mind. And, as you know about bulls, you can't tell them to do anything, but that doesn't mean that they're not wonderful and loving at the same time. So he's stepping forward. I also want to talk about his time of passing, and I feel like this was something that unfolded very rapidly. So to me, this is not something that, where somebody was ill for 6 months or a year. This is something that came on very quickly. I'm seeing Friday for some reason, so it could have been on a Friday. Friday could be for his birth, passing, something else of significance, or something to do with you. The other thing that he's saying is that his passing for him was painless. It wasn't something that was scary for him. He felt very surrounded by wonderful people. He's also bringing a woman forward for you, and she comes in as older than you. So this could be a mother or a grandmother energy. And I feel that at her end of life, I think she was having a lot of health problems. I can't put it in one place in my body only, but my brain feels weird, which is usually neurological issues. And then my heart and my lungs start to feel weird. So I'm kind of going a little bit everywhere. And she's also bringing me to the beginning of a year in the winter time as important to her. So it could be January or February, but it could be birth, death, or something else of significance. As she's stepping forward for you, she's placing her hands on either side of your face, and she's calling you sunshine, and she's saying, cheer up, things are going to be okay. She's also wanting to talk about being isolated, and this is not in relation to the pandemic. She's being very clear that this is more of like the emotional sort of hermit cave that you've gone into, and she's saying it's okay to stay there for a bit, but not forever. And she's saying by the end of August, she's suggesting to try to start being around people again. I also feel a child that never made it onto the physical plane also around you in spirit. So whether that was a miscarry or something like that, this child's energy is also present. And this child is placing its little hands on your back, and it's sort of near your shoulder blades. And I see blue going to your shoulder blades. So if you've got shoulder problems or back problems or whatever, I feel like that's where the healing is going, which is really positive. I also want to talk about another man that's coming in, and he says long time, which is my symbol for having passed a long, long time ago. So he may have passed either when you were very young or something like that, but he shows up as somebody who did not pass at a very old age. So I feel like he may have been, middle-aged at the very most at his time of passing. And I also want to say that he was from somewhere that was mostly a farm area or something, because I see fields in my clairvoyance. And I also want to say that he had a different accent than what other people in the family would have had. So he may have been from either what I've learned from watching the Spiritualist UK services is if you could be like from 5 steps over and you'll sound completely different than everybody else. So he is saying, though, that he was from somewhere that was totally different than where everybody else was from in your family. He's also showing me you as a small child. So to me, this is saying that he knew you when you were young, but I think also passed when you were young as well. Whoever he is, he steps forward for you, and he brings a lot of love, encouragement, and support for you. The first man that came forward, the one that passed quickly, the one that passed quickly is stepping forward again. He's bringing me into your kitchen, which I know sounds kind of strange. And he's opening up the cupboards, and he's showing me not a lot. So I feel like he's saying you need to be taking care of yourself, bringing good things into your body or whatever that is. I feel like he's suggesting going shopping or something. I know it's a weird message. It's weird even for me, and I give lots of weird messages. But he's saying that this will be positive for you on some level to fill the cupboards up with things that make you feel good and that are good for you. So he's bringing that through for you as well. I also want to say that over the next 6 to 12 months, your inner light is going to get brighter and brighter and brighter. So if you've been feeling dim, it is very temporary. I see that you're going to bounce back very quickly. So hopefully some of that made sense for you. Oh, hello?
You kept cutting out, so I couldn't hear half of it.
Oh,
That's
no.
all right. I could. And Mum, you'll hear it all fully, properly on playback. But I didn't introduce you, did I? Matt, this is my mum.
Oh, hello. I had a feeling with the last name, but I wasn't sure. I never assume.
That there was obviously Dad, one of my siblings who passed before I arrived. My grandmother was there. She was being shoved forward. And that was Uncle Frank, the one from when you were younger. I think she's frozen.
I think she might be.
I'll just fill in for her. And actually, I've got to tell you, you might think it's daft, but I took her shopping for the first proper weekly shop this morning before church.
All right.
To actually start shoving loads of stuff into the cupboards because
so it was an acknowledgement then.
Absolutely, because Dad actually he would that's Mother, bear with me. She's dropped off, bless her. I'll speak to her in a moment. I will say Dad used to fill the cupboards. I mean, she turned round shortly after he passed and said, "My jar of coffee's nearly run out." And I said, "Which one?" And she says, "The one I'm using now." And I said, "Well, there's another 3 jars the same size in the cupboard." So by his standards, it's empty, but it's a little bit more organized now, to be honest with you. But no, I can qualify all of everything that came through there, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I deliberately didn't say who it was before the service, just in case. But yeah, thank you so much. And when she's seen it all again, she'll definitely be in touch. So let's see who's next.
Yes.
Let's shock her, shall we, and not tell her that Susan's coming up next. Hello.
I had a feeling it was going to be me. You're watching me, aren't you?
I'm watching everyone. I'm the all-seeing eye behind this screen, I tell you. Lovely. I'll leave you two to it and go and sort Mother out. Back in a...
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's
Good.
nice to see you.
Likewise. You ready?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's see what we get. Oh. All right, so as I'm stepping into your energy, I want to talk for a moment about the color I see around you as well, because it's shining very brightly, and you're kind of color coordinated because it almost matches your shirt. It's a green color, and green to me always represents a period of stepping within the self. It represents introspection and kind of self-focus, but because it's all around you, to me, this isn't so temporary as much as it is a part of your life path. And I feel that you hold space for people. I feel that you bring peace to people. I feel that even when you feel lost and you're not sure which direction you're heading, you will still reach out to others and kind of guide them in whatever direction they may be heading. And I think that that is a beautiful gift. It's a quiet gift in a sense, but I think that is one of the most needed ones on the face of the earth, especially with the way things are right now. I want to say that I see an acronym above your head. It's SW, which to me means social worker. So to me, this doesn't have to be your job, but it can be your purpose. And I feel like what social worker archetype does is bring people from like point A to point B with wherever they are in their life. They don't necessarily follow them forever, but they will show up when things get really hard and help somebody to shift their own path. And I feel like that's a huge part of what you do on earth, whether you realize it or not. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. I get a female stepping forward for you, and this is obviously somebody who's passed on. I feel like she comes in as older than you, so this could be a mother or a grandmother figure, but I'm definitely feeling from your mom's side of the family. And I also feel like when she passed away, I can't quite get a deep breath. So to me, that's usually lung problems or breathing problems or something in the chest area. I also want to say that personality wise, I think that she was somebody that was quietly supportive of people. I think that she kept kind of a lot within herself. I don't think that she was overly talkative. I feel like she was more observant than outgoing. But I feel that she is saying that your path in the last couple of years has changed a lot, and that the work that you're doing on yourself is very, very important. And she's specifically talking about the way that you feel when you look in the mirror. And I don't mean physically, but in the, the way that we view ourselves as a whole. She says the way that you view yourself is changing. And she says it's slow, but it's changing for the better, and she's happy to see that as well. There's also a spirit guide coming forward, and as you know, our spirit guides are not the same as our loved ones, but this guide is coming forward, and they're talking about moving or a change of location for you. I don't know that it's immediate, but I feel like it could be within a year, and I feel like when it begins to unfold, it will unfold quickly, but in a very positive way. So this isn't like, your house burns down, so you need a new one kind of situation. This will be like your choice, your choosing. I also get a man coming forward for you, and I feel like he could either be a father figure or off to the side of one, so a father or an uncle figure. I also want to say that at his end of life, I feel that he's also he's showing me springtime. So like April, May is important to him, as well as the end of the year. So that's like November, December also is important to him. So it could be birth, death, or two other things of significance. I feel like at his time of passing, he had blocked arteries within his heart. He's showing me that pretty clearly, that there was a cardiac problem, but it wasn't just a heart attack. It was, blocked arteries or something like that had been building over a long period of time. He's also talking about that side of the family, and he's showing me the word distance. So if you are distanced from your father's side of the family, either physically or emotionally or whatever, he is acknowledging that. But he's also showing me that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Whatever this distance is not, it shouldn't be viewed in a negative light. It's almost like for your benefit. So any questions about all of that stuff?
No, I think I know who they are.
Good. Is there something you want to ask about today?
No.
Are you sure? You can ask anything you want. I don't mind. If there's somebody...
Ask me that.
Pardon?
Go on. So what were you going to say?
Oh, I said you can ask any question that you like if you want. We've got a few minutes left, I think, for this.
What sort of question?
Whatever you want. If I will try to you're kind of asking the question to them. I'm listening for an answer, but we can see what we get if you like.
Oh, okay. If you hit anything from my husband.
All right, let's give it a whirl. All right, husband down on the paper here, and we'll see what we get. Do you know if he passed from something that either spread through the body or moved around? So that can be cancer or something affecting more than one part. Whew, he is stepping forward. Oh my God, I love his personality. I feel like he could be equally absolutely amazing and slightly frustrating at the same time, but he comes in with this big teddy bear-like energy. So to me, that's somebody that is very reliable, and you know that at the end of a hard day, that person will be there. And he's sitting down at a table with me, and I'm smelling like macaroni and cheese kind of a smell. So to me, he's bringing me to dinner, which is cool. And I'm going to ask him what his message is for you. Oh, he's showing me his moment of passing. And he says that the timing of it was miraculous, which I know is a weird thing to say when we think of somebody passing. And when I'm asking him, why was the timing of your passing miraculous? He's saying that it was just in the last moments, he felt so surrounded by loved ones. So if it was a situation where people walked into the room shortly before he passed away, it wouldn't surprise me, or something like that, because he's saying that it was just at the last moment he felt so connected. He also wants to say that he's with a man that he was very connected with on earth, and who's also passed on. And I think this man passed on before your husband did. And I feel like this man was kind of a challenging person in general. I think that he was one of those people that had a bit of a wall up in front of him, and he didn't really, like, maybe he was a little bit harsh sometimes, or a little bit blunt, and people, I think, felt like he could be hard to communicate with or hard to talk to on earth. Whoever that is, he is with your husband, and I see them both with big smiles on their face, and I also see a pool table in the background. So it could have been one of them played pool, both of them played pool, but I can see it, and I see a cribbage board as well. I don't know if you guys have that game there, but they're showing me a cribbage board as well. I'm seeing the 14th and the 12th of a month, so I'm not sure which one of these spirits the 14 and 12 are for, but they are showing me 14 and 12. So your husband's energy is very loving towards you. I feel always will be, and always will be with you, which is cool. I just got the feeling of dog fur on my fingers. So I think that there could be either a dog or another small animal in spirit also with these wonderful people. So yeah, definitely you are surrounded.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and if you either know or meet someone named Jacob or Jake, either the name is being called out. So I don't know if that's somebody in spirit, somebody you already know is someone you're going to meet, but the name Jake, if it's not already very significant, will become that way, but in a very positive way.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I'm happy.
My friends,
I'm
that
glad.
is what they call reverse mediumship. And do you know what? I've never seen the comments so quiet. There we go. They've picked back up again now. Oh my God, Sue, brilliant cribbage. So obviously there's something there. See,
My
everyone
husband
goes
played cricket with me.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. He's very good at counting. I can't even remember how you to play it. You had to make, was it 13 or something? So I
I
would
have
play
no
the cards
idea.
and he'd do it all for me.
Oh, cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now there's proof and evidence of survival if ever I saw it. And you know, it's amazing because usually, and I know some people get whiny about it. I don't. I think it's lovely. There's usually some sort of conversation going on during the mediumship, which is why we have people up here rather than in the comments, so people can carry on having a natter and a bit of a social. I've never seen it so quiet. People listening to you tonight, it's lovely. It's such a wonderful sign that the engrossment of it, and everyone's really bigging it up. So Susan, brilliant. I love it. I'm so pleased for you, darling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
And I
you.
know there's going to be so many jealous people now.
Bless you. Yeah, there definitely is.
I've got my one-on-one.
Aw. Well, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bless you. See you soon,
You're welcome.
Susan.
Thank you, Nick.
She's so
Wow.
nice.
She is. We chat a lot. There's a lot of them that I chat a lot with. How I manage to get through the day, you know, getting stuff done, I don't know, because they're all my buddies now, and we're always answering questions, and that's it's lovely. I love spiritualism. Now we've got one more recipient lined up for this evening, which can mean the only thing I can ask. And the last time I will ask from Chateaux del Nick. Hannah, what time is it?
Bird prize.
Bully's special prize. Hannah, how are you, darling?
Good.
Good. Are you excited about being back next week?
Yes.
You're going to keep me in order on the raffle, aren't you? Good. That's what we like to hear. You see, in honor of the final bully, I had to dance, and of course, Reverend Lyn's suggestion that we should wear a frock. I thought I'd go and put mine on. It's just that I haven't got a belt big enough around it anymore. We'll deal with that once we're fully out of lockdown. But Hannah, thank you for week in, week out, keeping us in check, knowing where we are in the service. We'll see you a bit later on.
Yeah.
God bless, babe. And indeed, we move on to our final recipient of the evening. If I can stop trashing the house by throwing my chair everywhere. Mo, are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
I'll leave you to.
How are you, Mo?
Not bad, thank you. You?
Not too bad, thank you. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got. So as I'm stepping into your energy field, I want to talk a little bit about anxiety. And the reason why is as I stepped in, I could feel it sort of buzzing through your energy field. And I want you to know, at least this is, and I'm not like a doctor or therapist or anything, but I very much feel that at least a part of this anxiety is coming from your own energy sensitivity, the empathic ability, the ability to feel and sense other people. I also want to say that I can see a lot of spirit energies around you that aren't your own loved ones. So if you haven't already started communicating with the spirit world, I think this is something that will be very easy for you to do because it looks like they're waiting in line to bring messages through you, which is cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to try and step aside so that your loved ones can come through. And we'll hope that that happens. Do you know of a younger male energy that passed away? So this would be somebody in their 20s or 30s or somebody in the sort of younger, and a passing that happened very, very quickly or suddenly or abruptly. I'm getting somebody coming in like that. And he's also showing me the word shadows. So to me, shadows represents when somebody is either misunderstood or people, judge them for things that aren't true or something like that. So if he experienced things like that, it would not surprise me. I also feel like his passing came on from outside of him. So to me, this can be an accident or something other than illness causing a passing. So I am feeling that. I also see the letter J. So to me, this, could be his name, could be somebody else's name. He's showing me the 26th of a month as important to him. So can you understand somebody like that so far?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's tell him to step aside and we'll ask for... Actually, why don't we do this differently? Why don't you let me know who you would like to try and connect with? Because I think this could be a challenge.
My mum is one person.
Perfect, let's do it. So we're going to ask your mum to step forward. You know what, Mo? This might be one of those times where I just cannot connect for somebody because I'm trying to go into that. I wrote mom down and I traced over it a bunch of times and I'm getting like nothing. So sometimes this happens in mediumship where the medium just cannot connect for a person, and it's horrible and it sucks and I wish I could help you, but I think I would rather leave you in the hands of one of the other mediums that serve the church, if that's okay with you.
Yep, that's fine.
Awesome. Very sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
But I don't know where Reverend Nick went. Oh,
Hello.
there he is. Would you, Reverend Nick, I was unable to connect for Mo, unfortunately.
Yes. I tell you what, I tell you what, why don't we see if we can, as it's the last one, let's have a bit of a giggle. Let's see if we can link together, Matt, and work together.
Sure.
I'll try and get a link with Mo and then see if you can link with me.
All right. Let's give
Are
it a
you
whirl.
all right with that? Let's see what we can do. Right. Okay. It's funny because I had to go and prepare myself in exactly the same way as you did before the service to make sure that I was all right for the rest of the evening. So I must be psychic. What can you say? Right. Okay. Let's see. So obviously, as I begin speaking and as I was talking and preparing myself to make a connection, I was very much aware that I was someone who makes excuses all the time for what I'm doing and has to over-explain everything rather than actually just say, right, this is how things are going to happen and this is what I'm doing. Is I just need to let you know this and I just need to let you know that, and that's exactly how this person's connecting in. And do you know what I am going to say here? That because that's what you asked Matt for, this was what Mum was like. And I'm very much aware that this feeling and this connection, whoa, thank you. I do know that I'll be honest with you, it's nothing to do with anything that I put in these, but I feel really, really drunk. So I do feel, I feel sloshed, love. And I just want to say, and it's that conversation, and nothing's going to come out properly. And I'm going to, and actually, if there wasn't a screen in the way, I'd probably, if I was on the platform, I'd be spitting at you because, you know, I'm, and I just want to sit there and be silly, really. And this is why this is why I feel like I've been necking it all night, and I don't do that, especially on a church night, darling. But I do feel also that she oh, you're a crafty what's it, you are, right? She was a very much a party girl and hadn't got a problem with anybody. And in actual fact, the descriptions and the whole tutu she would have found hilarious rather than offensive or annoying. But what she was afraid of was travel. She didn't like being too far from home. It's like, I just don't like being too far from home. She says, and then you expect me to go and see someone in Canada? Thank you. And she's using that just as a way of letting you know that it's part of her way of identifying who she is and saying hello. I do want to. I do want to get rid of this feeling of feeling drunk. So give me a second. Matt, if you start connecting with anything, please feel free to step back.
Trying, and I've got nothing. I think this is definitely an example of where this medium is out of commission, apparently, at least right now.
But I'll be honest with you, and thank you. She was actually very knowledgeable about this way of life, actually, in spite of all of the silliness. And what she's saying is it's very rare to actually see a medium be honest about that and just completely say, enough is enough. I'm not going to stitch you up and say, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to fill you with filler and, tell you about how you're feeling and that your big toe needs cutting. Although she will say your toenails are terrible, dear. Your toenails are terrible. Get them sorted. You need to go and see what is it that does the feet?
Esthetician.
That's it. You need to go and see one of them because your toenails, dear, you need to sort them out. So it's that kind of love and emotion that comes through. But she's very, very appreciative and respectful of people who are honest.
Yeah.
And this is why you are like you are.
And I just want to say too, Mo, like a loved one being around you and a medium being able to communicate with them are two completely different things. So I have zero doubt that your mom is with you. But in terms of like at least me bringing her through, for some reason, I think she wanted to hang out with Nick today.
I also get the impression. Thank you. And actually, it's funny because you are feeding from her in the way I work anyway. Because what she's saying is she says, of course, he needn't think he's getting an easy night as it's the last one in his bedroom. So we've got to make him work. So she would have been very much like that. That she liked to catch people out and catch them on the hop. Or for the second time in a month, catch me having a whittle during a message. So there we are. But there is so much love and compassion coming through from her. But as much as she joked about, get your toes sorted out, she really, really does want you to know that she, as was said, you very much need to know that I am around. And maybe I'm a little bit too of an overbearing mother to run all the way to Canada just to tell you to cut your toenails. And it's not being very naughty, Tim. It's not being very naughty. Forgive me, Nick. I'm equally aware of the lady's mother feeling. The lady was very strongly feminine, but there was something towards the end of her life that makes her limited with movements. As if there was so would you understand that connects in with mum as well?
Yeah. There
we are, Tim. It's not too naughty. You've just had what's known as a mediumship threesome, Mum. You couldn't want for more on the last live link from Chateaux del Nick than three mediums coming together to give you that connection. So with that, I will give you her love, give you my love, give you Matt's love, give you Tim's love, and say God bless you and thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you for coming, Mo.
Thank you.
See you in a bit. Well, wow. You know, I love the way spirit tends to play with us.
Me too.
And it's, you know, and I have to say, and I know through personal experience and witnessing what's about to be said myself, your honesty does you more justice than you know. It is an absolute definition of the credibility and the strengthening of the work we do if a medium is honest and says, I can't get it for you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, you know, I have no attachment to what comes through and what doesn't come through. Other than that, I give it exactly as I receive it. And so if there's nothing, then there's nothing.
Absolutely. And I'm all the more proud of you for handling it the way you did. In actual fact, you have been praised for that as well. You handle that absolutely brilliant, and nice to get me doing some work. Typical. But no, thank you for chipping in as well, Tim. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
We used to have a thing when he would come, he would always get his recipients to say yes, Tim. So I will say thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
And you know, it's brilliant. So let's find out what she who must be obeyed has to say as we welcome back Reverend Lyn. But before that, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, a demonstration of mediumship, of proof eternal, and absolutely upliftment. Matthew Stapley, you are always welcome in our church.
Thank you.
And I've been asked by Mum to pass on her thanks. She's sorry she got disconnected, but what she did hear, she was absolutely in awe with, and she will listen to the rest of it later.
You're very welcome.
She's going to get a shock because she didn't hear the bit about her mother, and I've seen her do that. So thank you. But let's see what the lady has to say. Reverend Lyn, are you there?
I am, and well done, and that is so good, isn't it? Because this is what we do. When we're actually developing as mediums, perhaps some people who are not and haven't done that wouldn't know, but we often do this interconnecting, and linking in with each other to receive a message from one recipient, and it's really good practice. And particularly in the situation we find ourselves, you know, tonight, where you are presented with a recipient. So it's basically you're looking at private sittings, you're looking at a personal reading, and of course this is what we're trained not to do. At least good mediums are trained not to do that. You know, so a public demonstration is very different to a private reading. And you know, I think that when we're back in the hall and when people are back in the churches, they will see how mediums generally receive their communication and pass it on to recipients, which is in various different ways. But it's more open when you're in that environment as to when you're like this and you're limited with who you can speak to, because you know, I'm really delighted that Tim joined in, and you know, and the other thing is that I would just like to say in conclusion that because we call ourselves Christian Spiritualists, we are, and we accept and teach the philosophy of Jesus. And we endeavour to emulate his demonstrations of mediumship. And what Jesus said himself was, greater things than these shall you do. And he said that, go thou and do likewise. And he said that to his followers then. And of course, that's what they did. So one can only wonder why the established Christian church of today ignores that. And some even deny the possibility. So that's something to think about, isn't it, Tim? Because of course we go back a long way as well. You know, that's one thing about getting old. You know, you know a lot of people for a very long time, and I'm very pleased that I know Tim, and I've seen him develop as excellent a person now as he is. Certainly his mediumship is wonderful. So Reverend Matthew, you know, you really did us proud tonight.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I look forward very much to seeing Reverend Nick exercising his wizardry. You know, with the magic box, and getting you to address our congregation when you're not there.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
You know, I could just see that. You know, eventually, of course, there'll be holographic images of everybody. So there you will be, you see, amongst us, and lots of people will be, you know, seen like that. But meanwhile, you know, thank you very much, Reverend Matthew, for serving us so well.
Thank you for having me.
You know, that was wonderful. I think that was the best finale. You know, in a finale of a theatre or whatever, a presentation, you have all the people come up on stage together and do something. And of course, this is the finale before the finale, because Reverend Nick always gets us all up together, doesn't he? But this is where, you know, the mediums all got together in this sort of grand finale for the last time, you know, working like this. But I think it illustrates very well how difficult it is to actually, you know, give a public reading in a private way.
Yeah.
When it's going to go out to thousands and millions. But do not let it worry you. Over the years, people will look at this demonstration of mediumship, Reverend Matthew, and tear it apart. And we'll teach people what to do and what not to do on the basis of it. And, you know, I think it's just marvellous. You know, it was very, very good tonight. And they always say that a medium is only as good as their last message.
That is not very well for me.
It was the last but one.
And I will say, I've got to be perfectly honest. How do I know that Reverend Lyn has adopted you into our little family? Because she will tease the shit out of you. And I can say that tonight because it's the last, but she will. And you know what? It's.
And I will be speaking to him about his terminology later.
Well, you know, but the truth is, it's that affection of communication and that honesty. And tonight has been all about honesty and gratitude. And, you know, I've had 20 years of this guidance and direction from this lovely lady. And she said worse than that to me. But no, seriously, Matt, you know, everyone is lauding and proud of you for your honesty. And you know what Lyn was saying about people looking and tearing up. One of the things that we get is, oh, well, you know, you can make things fit, and well, it's all fake. So it's all made up, and it's all tailored to fit people. And if you turn around and say, you know what, I really haven't got anything. Sorry, I can't carry on.
Yeah.
It really does whip it out from underneath them, because they can't say that. And that is why, as someone said, where was it? Honesty is the best policy. I know someone said it. I can't remember where I saw it, but honesty is the best policy. And
it almost makes, like, as thankful as I am that people are happy that I was honest, it scares me to think that I'm being praised for being honest when it really should be always present. I mean, that it's I'm thankful for the gratitude, but I also
no. Excuse me, Reverend Matthew.
There we go. You've started it.
Those in the world of spirit choose who they come through.
Yes.
And believe me, that is absolute. And the fact is this, that lady who would not come through you,
yes,
had her own reasons for not doing it.
Oh, for sure.
And people go to heaven very much with the same prejudices that they had when they were down here. And I'm telling you this, that there are people over there who would not come through me either, for very similar reasons.
Yes.
You know, because our you know, going back to old St. Paul, you know, there are people, there is spirit that would not have chosen to go through him because of his own sort of personal predilections or whatever.
Yes.
And it just holds good for all of us. And those on the other side of life choose who they're going to come through. And that is also really why it's so difficult for us when we're presented with somebody and they're going to say to themselves and their friends over there, I'm not going through him. I don't like him. I'm not
I've
coming
had it
through him,
myself.
and that's it. You know, so or her, for instance. You know, I've had it too. So I think that is something to not worry about at all.
I definitely don't. And Kathy says, has that happened before? Absolutely. I think that if a medium says it hasn't happened, I'd be more worried.
Yes.
Well, yes, you'd wonder what they padded it out with. Well, we all know, don't go into that one.
But I do.
You are
I
going
do
to go on a long journey. You are going to go on a long journey. You've had it hard for the last little while, but it's going to all get better now, and you're feeling a lot better now, aren't you? Yes. You know, that's a good one.
I will take that message for myself, though. Either way, Lyn.
yes, you may. God bless you.
I will
God
say
bless
this
you.
much. I do understand what Matt's saying, that it's quite upsetting that honesty should be applauded rather than expected.
Exactly.
That is it's just the state of the fact that the world that we're in, unfortunately. But so long as there is people like you around proving that honesty is part of our way of life, this way of life continues. And I really do mean that. And just in case anyone didn't get a chance to read it, I will say those magic words. Yes, Tim. It is a spiritual science we're working with, and you cannot press a button and make it happen. Absolutely right.
Oh, Lowe. I thought we could.
I wish.
Now, friends, it's time to return to that somber calm and politeness as I prepare myself for a kicking for saying a naughty word. But don't worry, because over the course of the last 18 months, I've been making a list of how many have come out of her mouth online, and I'm still behind on the score, so I've lost that one. But friends, it is that moment that Lyn mentioned. It's time to bring everyone back up. Everyone who's still connected, that is. Mum does apologise. She's watching from YouTube, so she is still with us. And of course, everyone who's watching at home. It's the end of Chateaux del Nick's Thursday night services. Next week, we will be back, but it will be from Littleport Village Hall. We are taking you with us. You're all coming with us. That's a fact. For those that haven't seen the earlier video, I will post it later. There will be more coming from Littleport in the week now. Now that my Thursday night is back in a village hall, it frees up Chateaux del Nick Studios to do some more stuff. So we will have a healing and philosophy service at the weekend. And there will also be, for want of a better term, a magazine show. It's more of a turn up and let's talk about stuff and do what we want when we want and feel like it and not be constrained. A bit like the chats that we've had with Tony Swindles, of course, Reverend Tony Swindles. So this is the end of a chapter that's lasted 18 months. Someone said, yes, last 18 months. This is the end of an 18-month-long chapter, but the next chapter begins next week. We're like Holby City. The series ends one week and the next series starts again the week after. You don't notice. You will only notice the background, because that one that you can see behind us, that's where we'll be. We've been preparing you. So you're coming home with us all, my friends. But this is the last one from here on a Thursday night. And I want to thank everyone who watches, who joins in, who comments, for being part of keeping me sane, as well as keeping each other sane and keeping this family going. I want to say a big thank you to Reverend Matthew Stapley, all the way from Canada.
Thank you, everybody.
And, you know, we've all had our tea, we've all had our dinner, and we're all getting ready for bed now. It must be, what, about 4 or 5 o'clock for you?
It is 4:05 o'clock. How's that?
There you go. That's magic, that is. So you've got the rest of your evening to go.
I do. And I just want to say a butterfly was just flying around outside of my office window here as you were talking about change and all of that. And as we know, butterflies often represent change.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I will say this much. My granddad used to make them out of tin cans.
Oh, cool.
I'll send you some pictures. To Reverend Lyn, of course, your words, your wisdom, your guidance, your smacks around the head, and everything in between.
Oh,
Thank you for being with us every week and giving your words to the world. So, Reverend Lyn. And of course, Reverend Alan, your readings have been spiritual, uplifting, peaceable, naughty, laughter-filled. And I know that you're going to share with everyone, as well as your reading, you're probably going to put an evening with my lady, and I don't mind do it. It's fun. But thank you, Alan. In spite of everything, you've still been here week in, week out. That shows true grit and determination. So thank you, Reverend Alan.
Thank you.
And of course, it would not be the same without a certain young lady keeping us all in track, letting us know when the last message coming up, with her good friend Bully, and of course handling her mother as well. It's Sam, Hannah, Bully and Henry. Let's give them a big thank you. And of course to our recipients tonight, to Susan, to Mo, to Mum, I can call her that now. Thank you for coming on for this one. But seriously, my friends, every single person and every single one of you watching at home, this is how serious I am. I'm going to look straight in the camera and take my glasses off so you can see my eyes. I love you. I'm so grateful for everything you've all done for us, for keeping this church going. And there is no other way that I would have it that you're coming back with us to the village hall. I mean that from the bottom of my heart and the heart of my bottom. So thank you all. And so, friends, let us join together as we close this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, we thank you truly for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship, to prove life eternal, to show that we are all one, and to show that the eternity of life reaches far beyond this one and into the next, where all those that wait for us and watch over us keep counsel, keep guidance, and keep shade over our heads. And in our days ahead, let us remember that no matter the difficulties we face, that we are united, we are together, and we are able to be one through our spirit, through the Great Spirit, but also through our personal responsibility of deed and action. Let us take care of each other, let us watch over each other, and let us make this world a better place, as was intended by those words in that prayer. Let us make it as it is on earth, as it is in heaven. And each day may we move forward and remember that when times are tough, we ask not to move the mountain. Just give us the strength to climb. Until we meet again, which won't be that long, we will do everything we do in the name of love, in the name of truth, and in the name of light. Amen.
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 Friends, that's that. The evening has come to an end. Once again, a really, really big thank you to everyone, to Reverend Matthew, to Reverend Lyn, to Reverend Alan, to Sam, Hannah, Bully, Henry, to Susan, to Mo, to Mum, but also thank you to all of you for keeping us going.
And to you, Reverend Nick.
Bless you. Bless you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor. It truly has. And you've all kept me sane. So thank you all for your friendship, for your kindness, and for turning up and making it worthwhile every Thursday night. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting here talking to me blooming self, wouldn't I?
Reverend Nick, on behalf of all of us, I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because without you, this would never have taken place. It would never have happened. I think you are truly a wonderful ambassador for spirit. And thank you so much for keeping everything going as you have done over this difficult period for everybody. So thank you very, very much, Reverend Nick, on behalf of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
And God bless you and your work.
God bless you. Thank you. And I'm so glad that the light is down and the reflections there, because I'm going to say it one last time before we're actually in that room. Good night. God bless. May the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. But most importantly of all, the kitchen's now open. Go have a cup of tea. Good night and God bless.